Hi, I'm Mindy Salyers and I'm a school counselor. In case you don't know what a school counselor does, I work with students in order to give you social and emotional tools to help you be successful there in school. The purpose of our time together is for me to connect with you. And even though I can't be in your classroom or walking the halls or talking with you at your lockers, I still want to have the chance to connect. And in fact, today's session is all about connection. And as an example, I wanted to share with you a story of connection with a high school junior girl who I worked with last school year. The thing about this girl is that she had everything going for her. She was beautiful, she was popular, she was a National Honor Society inductee, she was on the honor roll, she even had already been admitted to a college. And yet still she said to me, Mrs. Salyers, after an entire year and a half of being remote learning, I don't feel connection. In fact, now that I'm back in person learning, I don't even know what to say to my classmates. I could relate to her, couldn't you? I thought, yes, after being separate for so long due to COVID, it is tough to reconnect. And so I wanted to give you an opportunity right there on your Salyers study guide that you should have in front of you to take 3 minutes and jot down how you feel and felt during the COVID pandemic when it comes to social relationships. Ready? Go. Now, even though I'm not actually physically in your classroom circulating and kind of peeking over your shoulder, I imagine that you wrote down words like lonely, isolated, withdrawn, out of the loop. All of those are indicators that you haven't been connected. And when I think about connection, I think actually about electricity, about plugging in. And as an example, I wanted to show you this picture. Because I love Edison bulbs. I have them in my home. I'm attracted to them whenever I see them in a coffee shop. I feel like they're really beautiful outside and inside, just like they were intended. And yet, it's only through the power of being connected that they're able to shine like they were truly designed to shine. And the same way is with you, right? God created you to be this beautiful, perfect inside and outside being. You're designed for connection, and it's only through the power of connection that you're able to truly shine in the way that He designed you to be. So the problem and the question is, how do we reconnect with one another after being removed and disconnected for so long due to COVID? You may worry that you're going to feel awkward and you may come across as awkward as you feel internally. And you know, the truth is we all feel this way. We're all experiencing this. And I like to think of it as a COVID symptom in the way that people who contracted COVID lost the sense of taste or they lost the sense of smell. We have all lost the sense of social norms. Yet, here's the good news, that we're all experiencing this at the same time and in similar ways. So we're all working on it together, and you don't stand out as much as you feel like you do. So I was thinking, how can I help you tackle this process and give you practical strategies as you're readjusting to the new norms after being removed and disconnected for so long? So I want to give you 6 practical strategies in how to plug back in, how to plug in following being removed and disconnected. So right there on your Salyers study guide, you'll find an acrostic, plug in, and that's where we're going to write our 6 practical strategies. Ready? Here we go. Practical strategy number 1, phase in gradually. And here's what I mean by that. In the same way that we saw states sort of reopening and phasing in gradually, you too can phase into social engagement gradually. Rather than jumping right in and signing up for all the sports and all the extracurricular activities and all the volunteer opportunities and all the class meetings and roles, take it easy and phase yourself in gradually. Maybe make it a goal to attend 1 or 2 extracurricular events per week here at first. Then as time goes on, you can kind of expand that, but yet you're not going to be socially overwhelmed and overstimulated. Okay, practical strategy number 2 on your SEL Your Study Guide, plug in acrostic. Lean on your comfort zone. Lean into your comfort zone. And you know the where and the who that you are comfortable with, right? So whether that where is home or in your room or outside, after doing social events, after a full day of school, go to that where in order to decompress. And the who of your safety zone, whether that's a sibling or a bestie or a family member, whoever it is, go to that who and be processing following your school day, following your social events. How is it going? How did I feel? What could I have done differently? What things do I not have control over at all? And this way, you're gonna kind of be gaining a skill set while still allowing yourself downtime so that you can ramp back up again for the next event. As you're processing, ask yourself, how am I doing in terms of things that are maybe modified because of COVID? Things like junior, senior banquet or the camp out, or maybe it's graduation. How am I doing in those things? Okay, practical strategy number 3 on your plug-in acrostic there on your SEL Your Study Guide. Ready? Use social pickup lines. Now, I'm not talking about dating pickup lines. I'm talking about conversational pickup lines that help engage others and show that you're invested in them. So these are things like, hey, is that a new haircut? Or, dude, I dig those shoes. Or, hey, thanks for your chapel music. All of those things are ways to show genuine interest and build rapport with others. Be sure that you're steering clear of kind of generic comments like, how are you doing today? Or, hey, what's up? Those are just sort of catchphrases that don't allow others to respond genuinely and give information to stimulate a conversation. Practical strategy number 4 on your plug-in acrostic. Give information generously. Now, this isn't a form of oversharing. You're not spilling your guts here. But what you are doing is once you have engaged someone, you're actually adding information to the conversation. Be quick to share things about yourself or to relate to what they're saying. This is a way that you can take your guard down, and it allows the other person to take their guard down too. Number 5 on your plug-in acrostic there in your SEL Your Study Guide. Intentionally do self-check-ins. Now, to me, this is probably the most important takeaway that I want you to get today, because it's really important as you're acclimating to a new norm that you be checking in to make sure that you are emotionally and mentally healthy. So you're going to want to watch the patterns of what is normal for you, behaviors that make sure that they are not having irregularities. So ask questions like, am I sleeping more than normal, less than normal, or the right amount? Am I eating more than normal, less than normal, or the right amount? Am I having life balance when it comes to personal time, exercise time, extracurricular time? If your answers to any of those questions are negative, it might be a red flag to you that you actually are struggling emotionally and with mental health, and that you need to expand your support system and bring other adults into that situation. And finally, number 6 on your plug-in acrostic of practical strategies to connect. Never give up. We recognize that this is hard, right? We're all experiencing the hardship of adjusting and reconnecting. But never give up in your efforts to do so. As As you do it more and more, it's going to get easier over time. You're going to have days when you feel like you're just a flicker and days when you're full on 60-watt shining brightness. But after this darkness, it's going to take time in order for you to shine to your fullness. When I think about darkness, I think about the story of Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. Talk about dark, right? There in Matthew 26, the Bible tells us that Jesus felt sadness. He felt discouraged. He felt anguished. He felt distraught. And yet it was okay because he had his friends, Peter, James, and John, there with him. So he invites them. He says, I'm going through this heavy darkness. Come with me. You guys have been my besties for 3 years. Come with me. Sit beside me. Pray for me. Be present in my darkness. And yet 3 times Jesus comes back and those besties are snoozing. They were not invested enough in his dark hour to really experience what he was going through. You may have felt that same darkness during shutdown, that no one was invested enough or close enough to experience what you were really going through. You had no classmates for connecting, no groups for grappling, no peers for processing, none of it. You felt all alone and like no one else knew what you were going through. Yet here's what I love. We know that in Luke 24, after the darkness is past, after the death and resurrection of God, Jesus is walking down the road of Emmaus. And he sees followers. These aren't the same friends. These are different friends. And the thing is that as they're walking, it's kind of awkward. Conversation is still dead. They don't recognize Jesus right away for who he is. And yet they keep walking together and they keep talking together. And finally, there's a flicker of recognition. Finally, they start realizing who they are with, and there's the power of connection. And after they've plugged into him, there is no way to contain their excitement. They are on fire and shining for him. My challenge to you is this. Keep walking the hallways. Keep talking in those awkward conversations. It may feel stilted at first. You may not recognize each other for who you really are deep down inside. And yet, if you keep at it, eventually there's going to be that spark of connection. Eventually, you're going to have the relationship where you are on fire and you're reignited with your passion for life and able to shine as you were designed to be. That's all from Miss Mindy Minute. Until next time, thanks for letting me join you. Bye-bye.